have a problem with Silas. Now hang on, before you start typing your angry comments, let me explain. I don't hate Silas. He's second in my tier list of love interests in this game. However, I do feel his debut was definitely done dirty and he was rushed to be released, thus throwing off the whole rhythm of the game. Silas stands, I honestly feel like you were robbed, and here is why. Love in Deep Space's player base can be split into two distinct time frames, playing since launch and playing since 2.0, also known as Silas's debut. People who have been around my channel long enough will know that I'm part of the former. I've been playing the game since launch in January and I've seen all of the changes happen. But for those who joined on the Silas train and afterwards, you may have noticed that Silas has significantly less content than the other love interests. You're probably thinking, well, of course he has less content. He joined in July, while the other love interests have been in the game since launch. And you're correct. But I think there's more to it than that. I honestly believe Silas wasn't meant to debut so soon after the game launched, purely based on how much content he came in with. As you know, Xavier, Zane, and Raphael are the original trio of Love in Deep Space. When the game launched, the content available for each of them individually was quite substantial, even before we got any limited run memories. This can be easily seen if you just look at the memory pool and the X-Base Echo banner. It's the only thing that hasn't changed since launch, aside from adding Silas's memories. So let's look at the memory pool. Xavier, Zane, and Raphael have 5 5-star memories, 20 4-star memories, and 18 3-star memories. In comparison, Silas has 5 5-star memories, 6 4-star memories, and 6 3-star memories. He doesn't even have half of the 3 and 4-star memories as the other 3 guys do. It's no wonder Silas girls are having a harder time with some of the Deep Space trials and the Hunter contest with Silas. And keep in mind, the initial 3 had these memories unlockable at launch. Speaking of the launch, the number of available memories isn't the only content that Silas is lacking on. We also have the tender moments, secret times, and bond memories as well. At the game's launch, Xavier, Zane, and Raphael each had 17 tender moments, 7 secret times, which I'm only counting the secret times that were available before the affinity cap was raised past level 100, and 2 bond memories. Versus Silas only has 5 tender moments, 4 secret times, which I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Into Your Ear wasn't available yet when Silas debuted, so I'm not counting the secret times past it. And 1 bond memory. Just as a reminder, the number of 4-star memories each love interest has does affect the number of tender moments and secret times we get. So if Silas doesn't have many 4-star memories, that means he doesn't have as many tender moments and secret times as well. Do you see my issue here? Info did such a minimal release for Silas in comparison to the first 3 love interests. I think it's unfair to those of you who main this man. You deserve to have more content by now. You know why I think he has such little content? The leak. Now that we are post Silas debut, I can talk about what was leaked and what I think led up to the leaks happening. Given this is all speculation, my guess on what led to the leaks, so please do not cite my opinions as facts. There is no official statement from Infold on the leaks aside from the letter shown in their special live stream about the 2.0 updates. What was leaked was Silas's banner video showcasing scenes from his standard 5-star memories in the X-Base Echo banner. Not only that, there were many circulating posts quote-unquote speculating Silas's appearance, specifically noting his silver/white hair, sharp red eyes, and a mafia boss look. This was a little too on the nose to be a coincidental guess. I personally saw these leaks on Twitter and TikTok. Others reported they found these leaks on the Chinese social media sites Xiaohongshu and Weibo, which honestly is probably where the leaks I saw originally came from. Now, when I saw these leaks, my heart was racing. I was excited. But at the same time, I was a little disappointed to find the leaks happening. I was hoping to meet Silas in-game, and not through terrible low-resolution videos and images. To my memory, there were more things leaked, but I chose to quickly scroll past them or avoided certain sites for a while. With the leaks happening, Infold was forced to publish a quick preview video of Silas along with an official statement. The leaks were so bad that Infold had to launch an investigation and ask the community to stop the spread of leaks. All of this was happening right after the Entwined Shadows trailer on June 20th. This was a time-marking banner which showcases Xavier, Zane, and Raphael giving our main characters the coveted kiss for the first time on screen with no fadeaway. It was meant to be an exciting moment, but the player base crawled out of the shadows and into the N109 zone, all hyped up for Silas. As to why the leak happened, let's rewind time a little to where I think this all started. We're going back to the announcement of the Lingering Gay set, Love and Deep Space's nice and cozy springtime multi-banner. It's also the banner where we got our first kiss from Zane, though it faded to white before contact. It was at this time where the Chinese server decided to boycott. The reason for the boycott was for the lack of diamond resources and that the developers were pushing out banners too quickly, giving players' wallets little time to recover. In case you didn't know, the Chinese server alone is really raking in the cash for the game. The global server and the Japanese server's earnings combined can't even be compared to how much the Chinese server spends. I made this graph to give you guys a better visual of the Chinese server spending, and my gosh, the dip for March is staggering. The numbers here are based off of Gacha revenue, which is gone now by the way, and these numbers were reported after the month's end. Now, the dip in March seems to have happened all across servers, not just the Chinese server, but going from 44 million to 30 million definitely left a statement. Fans were clearly not happy and they were letting their money do the talking. While the Chinese players were boycotting in March, the developers announced on March 13th their first heartfelt gift. This features Xavier's unique aftertaste of free 5-star memory and an abundance of free rewards to claim. This event ran from March 20th to April 3rd, possibly in response to curb the boycott. And as you can see from this chart, I don't think it worked. The subsequent months up through June featured the myth sets for Raphael, Xavier, and Zane in that order, and things aren't looking good for revenue. There was a little hype for Raphael's myth, but by the time June ended, the numbers had dipped from 44 million in February, which was new game hype plus veiled whispered banner excitement, to a staggering 27.5 million. This was about the same amount of revenue the game made in January when the game was barely 2 weeks old. Very bad news. With those numbers out on the table, I'm speculating that the developers and their marketing team were panicking. They were losing money! They needed to do something to increase revenue for the next month, or else maybe their investors may pull funding for the game, leading to the game being shut down. Here are the two most likely scenarios I think could have happened. Scenario 1. An employee of the company decided to take initiative and, without telling anyone, leaked the video footage online under an anonymous name, thinking that leaking Silas before the end of June was the best solution to boost interest and revenue. Scenario 2. The company may have already decided to release Silas ahead of schedule, thus making the leaks a marketing tactic to increase revenue. Now, the second scenario, I wouldn't be too happy if it was true, but I understand why they probably needed to do it if that were the case. They are a business in the end, and they have employees to pay and investors to satisfy. Making their own hype through some underhanded means isn't exactly new in the business world, but I honestly think scenario 2 is more unlikely due to the fact that they did ask players to help them report the leaked content. Why would they ask us to help if they can easily stop the leaks at any time? But once again, these are just hypotheticals. You're probably thinking, okay, but what about a hacker who got into Infold servers remotely and took the data? If that were the case, let me ask you this. Why is it only Silas's debut that got leaked, and nothing else? I'd imagine that some of the upcoming banners, the branching stories, or perhaps some sort of hint of our next love interest would have been leaked as well. Unless this hacker is being smart and leaking only certain things and minimizing their trail online. Whichever scenario you believe, the end result is the same. Silas debuted with too little content in my opinion. I honestly think it would have been better to wait a few more months to at least give him some more 3 and 4 star memories at launch. The rhythm of the game honestly feels a little thrown off now. This is more apparent if we look at the release schedule for the branching stories. Infold announced the branching stories during their 2.0 livestream, stating we would get them between September to December, and we did. Each branching story I thought were going to get their own spotlight, just like how each of the previous myth sets did with no overlapping events. But because Silas is in the game and needs more memories, Infold has to keep releasing memories for him every month just to get him to catch up with the other love interest. I wouldn't be surprised if some of Silas's banners we are getting were actually supposed to release at a later time, but had to be moved up because they don't have any other Silas memories ready. Having to release a Silas memory every month has definitely thrown off the banner scheduling. I especially feel bad for the Xavier girls. Aside from Xavier's birthday in October, when was the last time he got a solo banner? I'll give you a second. It was April for his memory, Faint Sensation. Speaking of which, I honestly believed we were getting a set of memories for each love interest in their gym clothes, and it was being spread out instead of being in one multi-banner. As happy as I was to get exclusive tutorial, after Raphael's memory private trip drop, I was expecting the next solo banner to be Zane's gym outfit in July. But nope, Silas said, move over Zane, it's my turn. I get to debut, and I also get my own gym outfit memory before you do. I just want a Zane memory of him in his gym outfit, please, Enfold. By the way, if you want a visual timeline for all the limited run memories released thus far, I made one via Canva. Not sponsored, by the way. It gets updated as memories are released, so if you want to check that out, the link to it is in the description. So what's the conclusion? I think Silas girls were robbed of a grander debut due to leaks, the cruelty of corporate greed, and the Chinese server boycotting back in March, which started the snowball. Honestly, good on the Chinese server to get heard. I just hope Enfold will make better decisions in the future. Like I said, this is all speculation and my opinion, and I could be wrong. Feel free to discuss in the comments. How do you feel about Silas's debut? Do you think the amount of content he debuted with was actually okay, and I'm just asking too much? I hope you guys are enjoying Silas's myth, by the way. If you haven't gotten it yet, you better hop do it. You're missing out on lore in his background if you don't get it. Who knows if it's coming back? And if you're watching this after the myth is gone, well, cross your fingers and hope it comes back. It was some juicy stuff you missed out on. Enfold really needs a rerun banner for these myth memories. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!